For the South Australian Drink of the Week, this episode, we have a recurring guest. In fact, the truth is, hasn't taken a hint, but we don't mind, because Glenn Malacca is not only fun to be with, he knows his wine, and that's why you're back here again. Hello, Glenn.
Well, thank you, Steve. Hello.
Now, you've brought some more wine for us to do. And by the way, if you're just listening to the audio, we've got 3 bottles in front of us, and they're all from the brand Brockenchack. Have I pronounced that correctly?
Perfectly excellent.
Oh, wow. There's a first for everything. And I have never heard of Brockenchack before. From where does it hail?
Well, Eden Valley in South Australia. So some people, good. Some people say Eden Valley is just a little bit cooler than the Barossa, but I'm not sure how you want to take that. And they have been around for about 10 or 11 years.
Really?
Even though the concept was born a long time before that. The chap who owns it, Trevor,
yes,
is originally from Queensland.
Oh, hang on, just one cotton pick a minute. This is the show where we put South Australian passion on centre stage, and you've got a banana bender that you're going to shine the light on. You have to justify this. Has he earned his SA stripes? This is what I need to know.
Has he ever? I met him at the border and I checked his papers and everything was above board. So we've let him in. We've left his thongs there at the border, and he's come on over. And what's happened? He's accidentally fallen in love with the Barossa. So now, if I may justify his existence on your fine show,
please
Steve,
do.
As much as I'm doing that, he's hated at home in Queensland now for becoming South Australian. He's
oh really?
Yes. So
we love that. We'll drink to you in just a moment, Trevor.
Swings and roundabouts. But Trevor is the most beautiful, humble man you've ever met in your life, and he got around the dinner table with the family and said, look, I've fallen in love with a vineyard. I'm going to purchase this vineyard and we're going to make this grow. We're going to get some really good people involved.
I bet his wife breathed a sigh of relief when he announced to the whole family, I've fallen in love.
Yes.
With a vineyard.
Yes.
I hope he left this beat, this little pregnant pause before he explained what.
Yes.
Anyway, go on.
Yeah, not in a weird way. So, no. and you pronounce the name beautifully, Brockenchack, and some people might think that that's a semi-Scandinavian name with a bit of a Viking heritage to it, but in fact, around the dinner table with the beautiful family, they decided to name their family brand after their 4 grandchildren of Trevor and Marilyn. So we've got Brockenchack is made up of Bronte, Mackenzie, yes. Charlie, and Jack. And together they become Brockenchack. And for those of you listening at home, there's a little jigsaw puzzle with 4 pieces on it on the label that represents the coming together of the 4 grandchildren. And with a bit of luck, one of them will probably assassinate Trevor and take over the family business.
You know what they should do? They should put a face in each of those pieces, and then it's like the Brady Bunch. Because that's what I said, the Brockenchack Bunch. And they're looking up at each other and across.
Right.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Next generation type Brady Bunch.
Because they still could be grandchildren to follow. You could get to 9 pieces before too long.
Yes, and then the whole box. Then you get a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle by about the year 34, 20.
And at that point, Trevor will not only be accepted into South Australia, we'll clutch him to our bosom for helping boost our numbers with such good stock. Now, tell us, we've got 3 wines sitting on the table. We're going to choose one to try. I've got in my hands a 2018 Jack Harrison. It's a single vineyard Shiraz from Eden Valley. What do you know about this little number?
Oh, see, Jack Harrison. So there's one of the grandchildren there, and as we speak, he's probably running around on a quad bike, checking the vines and doing his best for Granddad and hoping he's going to inherit the whole thing.
I was picturing him about 4 years old. No, he's actually...
he's about 20 now, and he's diving straight into the business and loving it and being and just learning as much as he can. So the Jack Harrison Shiraz, this is the serious end of town, Steve. This is something, we can decant now and look at it over 2 hours while we're cooking dinner or something, or we can hide under the bed for a good 15 to 20 years. So this is the type of... I
didn't know you were staying that long.
Yes, is that all right? I better put some more coins in the meter. And so Yes. This style of Shiraz is hiding in beautiful fine French oak for up to 2 years, aging gracefully. So no big American oak for Eden Valley styles. Yep. So it's luscious, it's rich, it's elegant, it's got all the flavour you want, it's action-packed, and yet the only thing it really is missing is higher alcohol and big tannin, which a lot of Barossa Floor Shiraz has.
Yes.
So you're not missing anything here, you've just got a more elegant style. That's the way to picture this beautiful wine.
Well, it's still got 15%. It's still got a little bit of...
Oh yeah, but of course it doesn't stick out. Like there's no prickly heat at the back of the palate. It's all about balance. So when you think about alcohol and tannin and sugars and all that sort of thing and acidity, if those four things are in check when that's in the bottle, they'll be in check in 20 years from now.
Well, that's like those 4 pieces of the jigsaw puzzle too.
we're onto it.
This is why you do what you do. We also have a 2022 On Point Pinot Grigio. Where does the name... Because Jack Harrison's named after a grandchild. What about On Point? Any relevance?
This is young Charlie, the youngster who got right into ballet at a young age. So I believe on point is a term. I just write the tasting notes. I really don't know how to spell on point properly. But I believe that's like, what's the other one? There's Pleiade or or something. And
would you say on point? On point?
On point. Yes,
right.
Yes, I think so.
It's been ages since I've donned my little slippers.
I see.
Pirouetted across a stage. It's been a long time.
Wow, I'd like to see that.
Right. We might have some archival footage for the video. Let's see. No, we don't.
Pity.
I tried.
Pity.
Yes.
I would have been into that.
Okay.
So there we go, 2022 On Point Pinot Grigio from those beautiful Eden Valley rolling hills there in behind Mount Mackenzie. And this is absolutely brand spanking new. The ink is still wet on the back label there, folks. And with Pinot Grigio, as you know, this is going to be, I'm not going to say crunchy, but when we say fresh and crisp and refreshing, this could be a breakfast wine, except I don't want to let anyone astray, but this is sitting under a jetty in summer wine, having a really good time.
And any particular food you'd have with your Pinot Grigio?
Oh, look, I'm going to go from even just beer battered fish and chips.
Really?
Start there if you want it, and then go away with any seafood you want, up from that $10 special on the end of Semaphore Road.
So this makes any food look good?
Oh, does it? It even makes me look good, Steve, which is miraculous for the price.
So you're
point.
often seen walking along the beach at Glenelg holding one of these up to your face?
Yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah, just reflecting.
Perhaps not in the dry zone area.
No.
Upon reflection.
No, dog on a leash too, if we're going to be completely socially aware.
Okay. Well, that sounds interesting. On point. So that's another great... Okay, that's wonderful. And the third bottle here is named Zipline. Let me guess. One of the grandkids likes hanging out clothes.
Oh, yes, I think that's what it's all about. So right up on the top of the property there, and you must go there one day, they have a beautiful bed and breakfast you can stay with a spa overlooking the Chardonnay vineyard. Incredible. So up the top of the hill, as soon as I got there with Trevor, I said, look, a flying fox. And he said, no, you idiot, it's called a Zipline. That's why we named the Shiraz Zipline, or otherwise it would be Flying Fox Shiraz, wouldn't it? And
see, this is where we know, this is the shibboleth to tell that he's actually a Queenslander. Because I'm pretty sure if you're a South Aussie stock, it's a Flying Fox all the way.
You grew up with Flying Fox?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did
Flying
too.
Fox is what it is. So I'm getting my pen out, Trevor, and I'm just... Am I allowed? I'm just...
Yep, it's now Flying Fox Shiraz within the South Australian regions.
Fox. I'm sorry,
That's
Trevor,
fair.
but this is for your benefit, to get you accepted in the community. Plus, you moved to the Barossa. That's a tight community anyway, so it takes a bit to get welcomed in there.
It sure does.
Which I'm sure you're in by now. But anyway, after this, you're in high. So Zipline, there's a Flying Fox. I guess one of the grandkids loved playing it, because I'm getting a bit of a naming convention here.
Exactly. Every single one of Trevor's wines is named after a family member.
And what one is named after his wife?
Oh, well, see, that's where, that came up rather, that's a bit of an ugly thing there. Marilyn is Trevor's wife, and she's really beautiful. And one night I was thinking, Trevor has named a wine after every single one of his family members except his wife.
Are you joking?
So he might not be sleeping inside anymore.
He might be up in that little bed and breakfast.
I think so, camping out on his own there, because his lovely lady Marilyn, and Marilyn, if you're looking, I'm doing my best to get a wine named after you. You're a beautiful person.
And a name like Marilyn.
I know.
We have allusions to Marilyn Monroe.
Of course.
We have allusions to Marilyn, the slightly camp 80s artist. You know, there's so much you could do with Marilyn. Wow. Okay, well, we've done our bit for marital harmony.
And Trevor, I apologise.
Yes,
Trevor, I tried to warn you.
You can, just like you left Queensland, you can leave the doghouse, and it's really easy. We just need something called Marilyn. And I don't know Marilyn, but there must be a variety that matches her personality.
I think so. What if, Steve, we leave it with, coming soon, or watch this space.
Okay.
Stay tuned. Put your name down for Marilyn. It's coming.
It would be lovely if you can find the Brockenchack. Have they got a website?
They sure do.
Okay. Please just go to the form and ask, when is the Marilyn being released? I think that has to happen.
Popular demand. I like it.
But this Zipline, because I've defaced it, let's have a little taste.
Okay, let's have a crack at this one.
Because we still have to toast our late patron, Queen Adelaide. We're slipping... Oh! Look at the dark colour of this Shiraz. and I'm saying Shiraz because I say Shiraz. Some people say Shiraz, but I figure Trevor's from Queensland. It's Shiraz all the way, isn't it?
It is, and that was a fascinatingly stereophonic crack of the lid there, Steve. I don't know how you managed to get that right in the middle of the left and right.
Now, let's just raise your glasses.
Indeed.
To the Queen.
To the Queen.
All right, so
Cheers.
I am blown away by how wonderful the abyss of the darkness of this wine. Look at that.
I know.
It's like liquid brick.
Rich, deep and meaningful, like a Bob Marley album. Oh no, does that even make sense? But it's like a walk in the Black Forest. Incredible.
I'm actually, for the first time in 350 odd episodes, I'm completely speechless. There is nothing to fault with this. It's like, you know what this is like on my palate? Trevor, this wine, you know those heist movies where they've got a clever nerd who goes up and patches in a little bit of security footage that keeps cycling around even though they're moving and no one can see them. It's like that's recreated, it's slipped on top. This has slipped into my palate like it's been there forever. This wine, seriously, dear listener, this 2019 Zipline Shiraz, oh wow.
And luckily, but just before I got here, I had a few minutes to spare while the patch on my push bike tyre was drying in the sun, and I looked up the word unctuous, which is not something I would usually use, but this is unctuous. That it's come knocking at the front door. It's gently come in, like you said, elegant, sophisticated, soft, rich fruit flavours.
And there's a little cavalry line of spice, just spicy illusion, I might actually say, just on the back of my palate. Little toy spice soldiers. But the lines have spread right across. But I can't distinguish it from my palate.
No.
It's there. I know it's there. But if this was a virus, my little antivirus fighting things in my body going, nothing to see here. This is just part of the DNA, my son.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
That is fantastic.
I know. There's no lumps. There's no bumps. It's like when you go to see a live band and the mixer is the unsung hero of the live concert, and the singer isn't out singing, the lead guitarist isn't squinting. You can still hear the drummer, the bass. There's the piano, not my piano, but it's all there. Everyone in this bowl, this beautiful glass, is singing together. That's why it feels so unobtrusive, and yet there's still so much flavour coming off.
And Goldilocks would love this. It's not too sweet, it's not too dry. It has a nice little cleansing finish on the end. The colour's dark, that balances it. It's exactly the one that Goldilocks
It is. And there's not three bears trying to kill her, which makes for a more relaxing, enjoying wine experience.
We'll leave the killing up to Marilyn to get her way to be named on a wine.
Yes.
I think what you should do one day is blindfold Trevor, take him up to the Zipline, tie his hands to it and push him forward and give him the ride of his life.
He would love that. He's quite an adventure freak. Yes.
I think he'd come up with an idea for what to name after Marilyn.
Because he'd be going, Marilyn! and then there's the name of the wine.
Fantastic.
Right.
Marilyn with 7 N's. Okay, so let's wrap this up now. Where can we find Brockenchack 2019 Zipline Shiraz? Where do we find this?
Well, the best thing is if you just jump out the front of your house and put one ear to the street, and if you can hear the little pegs with the cardboard wrapping along the spokes of my tricycle as I come down with the woven basket full of wines, wave and I'll pull over and we can do a deal right there on the street. Nothing untoward whatsoever. Otherwise, as usual, folks, fine dining establishments, lovely independent retailers all across South Australia, or www.brockenchack.com again.
And does Trevor have a bottle shop?
He does.
Does he sell this in his bottle shop?
He does. It's as luck would have it. He's quite the enthusiast.
Give it a plug. What is it?
Tanunda Cellars. If you go for a lovely drive up in the Barossa Valley, talk to Chris at Tanunda Cellars in one of Adelaide's finest little bottle shops full of unique treasures.
But say to Chris, hey, have you got any of the Brockenchack Marilyn? Just keep asking for that. That's what I think should happen.
Or some of that Flying Fox Shiraz.
Yes, exactly. Until next time, the Brockenchack 2019 Zipline / Flying Fox Shiraz is the South Australian drink of the week. Marilyn!
Adelaide, Adelaide.
Adelaide, 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 who?